Thank you so much, Jenna, for joining both Jake and myself today. And congratulations again on being one of the winners selected for the mPact Young Professional Spotlight Award.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
congratulations.
Yeah, we had over 70 nominations. And so to be selected, I think we were incredibly impressed by the nomination form by Carolyn and your work that you do, not only in your organization at PwC, but in your community of Detroit as well. And we'll get into that. But I I'll introduce myself just right off the bat. I'm Ashley Arbanek. I'm Director of Member Relations here with MBA, and I run our residential mPact Young Professionals group.
Jake Williams, I'm a mortgage sales manager with Lake Michigan Credit Union, and I'm on the mPact Steering Committee.
I would love to hand it over to you to introduce yourself, kind of tell us your journey, how you got started in the industry, how long you've been here, and what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jenna Frader. I'm a senior manager now with PwC. I've been at the firm for about 2.5 years. But if we sort of rewind the clock on where I started with a mortgage shop that is based in Detroit, Michigan. And really I started there because when I graduated, I wanted to stay in the city. I went to school in Detroit. I was born in Detroit. I lived in the city for a little bit. And so it was really important to me that this company had such a big presence in the city. And also when I started looking into organizations that wanted to give back to their community in terms of like what companies I wanted to work for and what I wanted to align myself with, they were number one on the list. They do so much volunteerism within the city. And so for me, it was a way to, start on my career, start on that professional track while also still staying within the city and giving back to the city that I love so much. After my internship ended, I ended up moving into underwriting. And that's where I spent quite a bit of my early career. It resonated with me because it's a puzzle, which really, like, mortgages in general are a puzzle. And I think more people really should know more about mortgages and really what goes into it. And the ability to go in and really understand the puzzle that was underwriting, to be able to allow people to have their own homes and to sort of complete that transaction and hopefully help educate them along the way was, I think, really why I stayed in it. While I was still with that organization, I actually moved into technology. So eventually I kind of wanted to do something other than underwriting, and an opportunity presented itself for me in their technology team. And I moved into business intelligence and analytics. And so that was really where I learned the other side of the process. So I had been in the operational element of mortgages for so long, and then I really got to see the technology side. And I found that analytics really resonated with me because it was just a different kind of puzzle. I went to a couple other organizations. There was one that was based in Texas, and then I went to actually a mortgager that's also a home builder that's based in Florida. And it was there that I think started to hone what it is I do today, which is stand on both sides of the transaction, or both sides of the organization, which is the operational needs of the business and then the technology capabilities to support it and to make that happen. And that's also, I think, what led me to PwC. I wanted to use that knowledge and do that journey for lots of companies, right? I didn't want to stay with just one organization. I wanted to see what else was out there and to help a lot of different companies. So that led me to consulting. And that's kind of how I ended up where I am today.
And
Yeah.
I love just how big the mortgage industry can be, right? I mean, a lot of people just think of origination, but like you said, you've made your career working in the tech space after
Mhm.
origination, and just how it's all so vital and so important. But there's so many different facets, and you can carve your path in a whole bunch of different ways here in the mortgage industry, which you show, which is awesome.
So, part of your nomination form that I would love to read a little bit is that you are leading the efforts to develop and share AI-driven solutions for the mortgage industry, where you have designed potential solutions to reduce bias in the appraisal process. AI is a huge topic in the industry right now. I feel like it's on almost every panel at every conference. And so I would love to know kind of your experience with that.
It's a really interesting concept that we're still kind of playing out. Obviously, the appraisal process is largely like there isn't really like one manual, right? Like everyone is sort of training someone else. It's very apprenticeship based. There's a lot of subjectivity, which I think has been a hot topic. And recent years, right? And so again, going with the contextualization ability of these different large language models, we're looking at it saying, okay, can you ingest all of the text that was written in an appraisal? And can you just run a bias check? Can you read the particular sentence that someone wrote about a neighborhood and say whether or not they're assessing objective criteria like location, home size, neighborhood size, or are they describing things that they shouldn't be describing, like the ethnic makeup of a neighborhood or where it is geographically compared to something else, right? Again, with the automated underwriting one, it's about creating an assistant who can then serve those results up to someone else who sort of does that check and says, yes, this is biased, no, this isn't. The models aren't in a place where they could ever really do that independently, at least not today. Hopefully in the future they can, because then these models become more and more accurate. But right now we're really focused on the text scanning ability of these models and then the objectivity and like the pattern matching of the models to support solutions like that.
Sometimes a mortgage is an art, right, rather than a science. And so kind of having the two pieces matched together is just a better benefit for our borrowers, which is just going to lead to more mortgages and more homeowners, which is great.
Yeah.
The last thing that I wanted to ask you, this is, I think, one of the biggest things that really stood out to me in your nomination form was your commitment to the youth education within the city of Detroit. Your nomination form mentioned that you are actively working with an organization that aims to improve access to STEM careers for tween girls and underrepresented communities, connecting them with hands-on experiments that introduce them to science and science-related fields. And I think that's incredible, incredible work. We need more women and girls and young girls especially to be interested in this field and in the STEM area. And I think it's incredible. I would love for you to explain in detail a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the organization, they're not based in Detroit. They do virtual programming. So there might be girls in Detroit that are doing this, but it's actually a national organization. They're headquartered in California. They have big presences in Minneapolis and then also in South Carolina, in Charlotte. So I started working with them when I came to PwC. We have a pro bono element of some of the consulting services that we offer, where we basically do these engagements like free of charge for them. And the relationship started because the organization, after the pandemic was starting to wind down, was really trying to set their future state roadmap. And, they had been a pretty small localized organization previously. The pandemic, when they pivoted to virtual programming, they suddenly realized there were so many more girls that they could reach and that they could access. And so that's why they came to us, is they really wanted help forming that longer term roadmap of understanding how they could reach more girls and sort of bring them into that sort of STEM and STEAM environment where maybe they didn't have exposure before. So we've been working with them I think I started working with them about a year after I came to the firm. So about a year and a half. And really, like, we are helping them understand what are the different programming models, what are the different funding models, what are the different outreach ways that they can get more girls interested in STEM and STEAM. They focus on after school programs where the school's teachers are involved. They work with after school clubs like YMCA. They have a lot of corporate sponsorships. So they do a lot of day at work where they actually bring the girls to these STEM and STEAM companies and let them see sort of a day in the life of, specifically with like women that work at those organizations who are in these, science, technology, engineering, math positions, to really understand and start to like picture themselves in those places and understanding that like they can have a place in those spaces and that they're welcome in those spaces. So I always say that when I switched into technology, I suddenly realized that like, data and analytics was the thing that I wanted to do. And it was the thing that I was really passionate about. And I wish that it hadn't taken me 30 something years to find that passion. And so for me, it's just really important to give other girls an opportunity to get there before that.
I think that's great. Well, your work is incredible, and I think it's amazing that you're involved with an organization like that and that organization exists. I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do you guys see as sort of the future of the industry, or even the future of the role that the MBA plays in the industry?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'll let Jake take the industry as a whole one. And
yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're almost at a turnover point, right?
Yeah.
I think shout out MGIC does a loan officer kind of report every year, and the average age of a loan officer is 55.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we have to get new people in the industry. And I mean, that's appraisers, I mean, if you look at the real estate industry
Yeah.
as a whole,
Yeah.
right? Appraisers, real estate agents, everybody's kind of aging out or getting to the point of looking at retirement. So I think,
Yeah.
and this is why I think impact is so important and why I asked to be a part of it is kind of like you said, I came across this industry kind of by accident, and I'd like to see more people not come to this industry by accident, kind of make it a choice and a career
Yeah.
and it's kind of like I feel like a really good kept secret, right? There's
Sure.
fantastic careers and opportunities that you don't really think about. So I think you're going to see a lot of turnover. I'd love to see, the next, more millennials and Gen Z getting involved in the mortgage industry. And I think, like you said, with the technology, I think we're going to see a more streamlined process, but I still think the
Hmm.
human element's going to be important. So I think you're going to see a more, again, kind of a hand-in-hand approach where hopefully we can get away from those, duplicate asks, things that get lost in translation. So, I don't know what that means for the process as a whole, but I think hopefully we can see a spring of youth come up and technology follows. And again, that just means really good things for the people buying houses.
Yeah, and I think from the MBA standpoint, I mean, I'll kind of talk to mPact first, just because I'm very passionate. Obviously, I lead the residential side of our mPact group, and I am a young professional. But I've also been in the industry for 10 years. And I know, just like Jake said, like so many of my mentors and coworkers are that older generation. And I have been very, very blessed to be mentored by that older generation and have been around a lot of experience in my career. And for me to be able to sit on the mPact Leadership Committee and play a small role in creating a space for young professionals to come together to grow within their careers, find that mentor that maybe they don't even know how to look for or where to look for, and really come together to utilize their peers to be able to get into that space and then provide the professional development opportunities. And so it was really important for me to step into the space and really try and build that platform. And I've had help from so many people like Jake and people that sit on my leadership team that have been instrumental in doing a lot of these things, just like the Spotlight Award. It's really important too to not only have these people interested, but to shine a light on all of the incredible work that people are doing, because it's not only shining a light on them to the industry, but to their senior leadership teams. And it's people that are watching these videos and watching MBA, and we're the trusted trade association of the industry. And for us to be able to spotlight people like you that are doing incredible things, I think it's only going to help further the younger generation to be able to move up in this space, because there are so many young professionals who are raising their hand, want to raise their hand, saying, give me more, I want to do more, I want to be involved. I know it's not everybody, and that's fine, but there are plenty of them that want to do that. And so those are the people that we want to be part of our team and spotlight. And so I think we have really, really amazing things upcoming and moving ahead with the young professionals in our industry.
And what I love about this award and who it highlights, especially in the origination space, we think of closed volume and closed units, and that's kind of what people have measured success by in the mortgage industry, which obviously is important. But being able to shine the light again on people like you, Jenna, who are doing important work in the industry, that's just kind of behind the scenes, and that's one of the things that I like about reading the nominations and seeing people's stories is, again, making an impact. And it's, it may not come across in closing numbers, right? But it's just so important in helping move us forward. And that's been awesome to get to know you through this and through your nomination, and excited to see what comes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, Jenna, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. Congratulations again on being selected as one of the winners for the Spotlight Award. It's been amazing speaking to you, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, yeah, it was really great to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
Congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you.